Today is another of Aesop's Fables, and it is The Tortoise and the Ducks. Tortoise was feeling sorry for himself. "I don't like being a tortoise," he moaned. It's so boring. I never have any fun. I have to stay indoors all the time, and when I do go somewhere, I have to carry my house on my back." Tortoise drew his head into his shell and sulked. Then he popped it out again. "I know," he said in a happier voice. "I'll go for a swim. Swimming is the only way I can feel light and free." So he set off towards the pond. Tortoise was walking along on his stumpy legs when a rabbit passed him. "Good morning, Tortoise," said the friendly rabbit. "It's a lovely day to go running." "Good morning," Rabbit replied Tortoise, keeping his head down. "I agree, it is a lovely day, but I can't run. My legs are too short and my shell is so heavy." "I'm sorry to hear that," said the rabbit. "I hope you can enjoy the day anyway." Then he whizzed past Tortoise, over the hills and far away. Groaned Tortoise. A little further along, a squirrel raced past and ran up a tree. "Good morning, Tortoise," called the squirrel with a smile. "It's a lovely day for climbing trees," called the squirrel with a smile. "I agree, Squirrel," said Tortoise simply. "It's a lovely day, and I would love to be able to climb a tree, but my legs are way too short, and my shell is way too heavy." "I'm really very sorry to hear that, Tortoise," said the squirrel apologetically. He scurried away up into the branches that Tortoise would never be able to reach. Tortoise lumbered on until he came to the pond. Two ducks were flying in the sky, whizzing in circles high above him. "Hello, Tortoise," said the ducks. They called out, coming into land on the smooth blue water. "It's a lovely day for flying." "Hello, ducks," answered Tortoise miserably. "It's a lovely day for flying. It's also a lovely day for hopping and skipping and climbing trees and running marathons and going dancing, but I can't do any of those things." "What can you do then?" asked the ducks. "I'll just have to go for a swim," said Tortoise, dipping his toes into the water. "Would you like to be able to fly?" the ducks asked, paddling alongside Tortoise. "Of course I would," replied Tortoise irritably. "Well," they said, "if you hold on to the middle of this stick with your mouth, we'll grab each end and carry you up in the air." Excited, Tortoise gripped the stick between his teeth, and the ducks held both ends in their beaks, flapping their wings and skipping across the water. They rose into the air, carrying the tortoise between them. Flying high in the air was a wonderful feeling. Tortoise had never felt so happy. He looked down on the tops of the mountains with cold, sparkling snow. He saw the fields of corn and flowers and pretty blue pond. He was finally having fun. Just then, a crow flew past. He cried out in amazement to see a tortoise that could fly. "You must be a very special tortoise," he said, squawking loudly. Without thinking, Tortoise opened his mouth to speak. "I am special," he bragged, letting go of the stick. Down fell Tortoise, down past the mountains, down past the fields, flowers, and down past the blue pond. Down, down, down. When he could fall no further, he landed on his back in a field with his short legs waving in the air. For a moment, Tortoise couldn't speak. All the breath had been knocked out of him. He wondered if he was still alive. Afraid for his safety, the ducks flew down to see if he was all right. "Are you all right?" they cried, wrapping their wings around him. Tortoise opened his eyes. He wiggled his toes, then he cracked all of the parts of his body to see if anything was hurt. Everything seemed to be working. He was completely fine. "My shell saved me," said Tortoise to the ducks. The ducks gently turned him over onto his feet again. "Perhaps being a tortoise isn't such a bad thing after all," they told him. Tortoise stood unsteadily for a moment. I think you're right, he said. I will never complain again. From now on, I will be happy just being me. Never disregard that which may prove to be the most valuable.